As I grew up in Miami, Florida, I was raised by my grandparents who taught me right from wrong. And my mother passed when I was 3, and my father was on drugs, so my grandparents exposed me to a very positive family environment at an early age. But it wouldn't be long before the blood of my father would cry out for me to follow in his footsteps. And at the age of 16, I became too rebellious for my grandparents and was forced to move to Jacksonville to live with my father. With him on drugs, I was looking for something to do with my time. So I did what was in me, and that was perform. You see, as a child, I grew up watching Michael Jackson and other entertainers. So I started hanging out at the clubs and rapping and dancing and quickly got introduced to drugs and women. And by the time I was 17, I was so involved in it that I dropped out of school for a chance to tour with one of the biggest names in hip hop. It was on that tour that God was preparing me to meet my destiny. I remember sitting outside the hotel room one night after a show, and I was looking up at the sky and wondering and asking God, was this the best he could do for me? You see, I thought that touring and women and fame would have been enough, but it wasn't. It was at that moment that I realized that my life was out of control. That night, my mother's death rocked me. It was at that time I realized that I needed someone to cry to, and I was angry at my mother for dying and not being there when I needed her. I had no idea that just around the corner, God had prepared a spiritual mother for me, whose assignment was to birth me into my destiny. As the tour ended, I came back home and I met up with Destiny. From the time I met Pastor Washington, she told me right from the starts that the glitz and the glamour is fine, but what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? She said to me, it doesn't matter how talented you are, if you're not saved, your soul is going to hell. She was not impressed with me at all, and that's what I needed. I wanted to be married, but Pastor first had to teach me how to love God and love myself. And in this process, I fell in love with her and fell in love with the ministry. She encouraged me to go back to school and get my high school diploma. After receiving my diploma, Pastor allowed me to showcase my writing skills and produce my first stage play at the church entitled, Lord, Please Save My Child. I realized then, by being in the ministry, what I wanted to do. I wanted to produce. And that was when my life changed. I met the woman of my dreams. The first place I went after meeting this woman was to my newfound mom, Pastor Washington. I wanted to know what she thought. Let's just say, after talking with her, 3 months later, I was getting married. Not only did I get married, but I went to college and received my associate's degree in film and television production. After graduating, I immediately started working for the ministry, producing our TV broadcast that airs now on 2 stations. How could this weed-smoking, baby-making high school dropout have gotten married and graduated from college? Surely, I was not worthy or the most likely candidate. But because I met my pastor, she changed my life. Today, I can stand proud and say that I am a good husband to my wife. I am a better father to my kids. I am the CEO of Maximum Entertainment. My company produced many stage plays and musicals, with the latest being No More Drama, about to go on a national tour. Working for Pastor Washington in ministry and seeing how she runs the church taught me to be a businessman and run an effective production company. But being her son in the Lord and receiving the love that she gave me when I didn't deserve it, that taught me how to be a man who loves God.